Welcome to round 2, race 2 of the New South Wales Formula V Championship supported by CXC. Okay, the results of the starting position for race 2 is the finishing results of race 1.
With Daniel Reynolds on the front row with Simon Pace next to him. Darren Williams followed by Corinne Perry. Great performance coming in 4th in race 1. And Dean Kavanagh, who's back to Wakefield Park after years away. Pablo Martino in 6th, who started last in race 1 following being a bit under ride height. Bad luck, Pablo. Then Morgan.
They're away.
Here we go.
Okay.
7.
There's a yellow flag there at the start there. Some people ducking off to the left there for the inside of the circuit. Someone on the grass there. I think that might be Steve Gamaro. Or it might even actually be Morgan Fremantle in his new car.
Oh, well, we're still going. Daniel Reynolds taking the lead off the line. Simon Pace right up his tailpipe.
Okay, now you've got Steve Butcher there at the back of the 1200 as well. Here is Simon Pace. He is right up the tailpipe.
Great footage. Really close racing. I think Simon might be in good form this weekend. This is his opportunity to do really well.
It certainly is. It certainly is. And he was on the back of Daniel there for a period of the race on yesterday's race 1.
Right, early few corners, and Simon's got Daniel Reynolds' measure. Daniel obviously looking to win as many races this weekend, following his two lost races in the first round at Eastern Creek.
That's Corinne Perry there in 3rd place. She's doing a fantastic job, not too far off the back of the front 2 there.
Yeah, she's jumped Darren Williams off the start and top 3, podium position at the moment.
Remembering this is only her 2nd round for the year, considering she wasn't in racing last year.
Right, well, when she raced last year, of course she was pretty hard to race against, so we know she can drive quickly.
Daniel missed the apex of the corner there. Simon got it nicely.
Right, Simon Pace, he's in the tow.
It should be.
Let's see, yes, he's just closing in on Daniel Reynolds. Obviously Simon's got his car going really well against that great Sabre.
That Sabre is very aerodynamic, very aero-efficient.
Yes, that's exactly what the Sabre boys still keep saying. That's great.
Okay, so in 4th and 5th there you've got, was that Darren? Well, actually I think it was Dean Kavanagh there, with Darren behind him.
Corinne Perry in the white Super V.
Actually, it was Craig Conlon there, right up Dean's tailpipe.
That's right, you can just see the white and the metallic blue car in 5th place there. Yeah, right behind Dean Kavanagh in the red and black Jacer. Craig doing brilliantly in that rebuilt Jacer.
That's a good job, it's a good job. And then just behind them you've got Pablo, who started from the back of the grid in race 1. He qualified 3rd but ended up rear of grid because he was under ride height. So he was up to 6th in yesterday's race.
And passed 13 cars to get through to 6th place, but it looks like he might have lost a couple of spots off the line.
Yeah, okay, so here's the inboard here with Simon. You can see his handwork, his data logger there. Good shot inside the front there of the Mako.
Right, flat out down the back straight and then hard onto the brakes with this tight 3rd-gear corner. And
grabs
then
a little bit of curve there, which is not a bad way of going around because it's sometimes hard to get that apex correct.
Right, it looks like Daniel Reynolds in the red Sabre at the front's just getting a bit of settling down with his car and pulling a bit away. But Corinne's pulling right away from Dean Kavanagh, and Dean's doing extremely well in his return to Wakefield Park.
And Darren's actually just a little bit off that group. I thought he would be in there with them. Who's that? Morgo's not in the lead of that next group.
Morgo was up there with Pablo nearby, and Lee Porter in the yellow Jacer, obviously doing very well.
There's Anthony Mitchell there, just in front of the start of the lead 1200s, which I think is...
Bruce Perry in the yellow Spectre.
And Jeff
Bassingthwaite, and Michael Gale in the red Mako up there as well.
And Bernie's a bit further back than he's probably used to being in the 1200 series.
Right, well, Bernie didn't finish the race on the Saturday afternoon the day before because he had a bit of a spin at the top of the hill and couldn't restart the car, so he's having to start from the back of the grid and probably made up a bit of a gap that he's got to catch up to now.
Yeah, so he's actually won the last 2 state championships at 1200, so he's got a fair bit of competition this year.
Right, look, I could just see going through the fishhook the sky blue Jacer of Gary Hook going really slow.
There you go.
I'll bet his heart's been broken because they just did a gearbox rebuild right throughout the Saturday afternoon, and there he is, another DNF.
Okay, there was just in the background there was I think two 1200s driving up the inside of Steve Butcher into the last corner there. He's been the lead 1200 in this series this year, so I wonder if he's got a problem going on there. Here they are. Here, look. Okay.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect Steve
actually,
Butcher.
sorry, it's Pablo. It was Lee Porter. So Pablo got dived up by 2 cars.
Right, well, there's Stephen Gamara, Pablo, Lee Porter in that pack of 3 cars, and let's see. We pan back past
Anthony Mitchell there.
Anthony Mitchell.
And here comes Michael Gale up the inside of Bruce Perry.
Right, Michael would be in 2nd place in the 1200 cars with Bruce Perry, Jeff Bassingthwaite and Bernie making up the next 3. Obviously Steve Butcher's got a bit of a gap way up ahead at the moment.
Okay, actually Daniel hasn't really shaken Simon Pace here. Simon's still pretty much within catching range here.
Well, Simon's obviously had the opportunity of showing his talents, and it looks like he stepped up to the plate. It's a brilliant drive
limit there, so Daniel's actually probably got a little bit of a benefit on the exit. I think maybe a safety car.
Safety car. What's happened here? Okay, so we'll...
That'll close up the gap. You can see how much space that Simon and Daniel have got away from Corinne, so Corinne's now got an opportunity to really have a shot with these guys if she's able to sort of jump in their toe and go with them.
Right, so something must have happened on the other side of the circuit. We sort of can't see anything happening around here.
Did you say that Gary Hook, you saw him coming to a stop on the track?
That would be Gary Hook must have come to a halt right out towards onto the back straight near the last corner. So yeah, obviously Gary couldn't make it back to the pits.
I wonder if he did a Steve Butcher and ran out of petrol.
Oh look, nothing would surprise me without Gary. Gary's the unluckiest driver that we've ever seen in Formula V in the last 450 years. So
we'll call him the Johnny Herbert of Formula V.
Exactly, and the Mark Webber of Formula V. Although Mark's not so unlucky these days.
Yeah, ever since his Red Bull days, I think Mark Webber is doing all right.
All right, so the safety car will bring all the cars back close together. Another opportunity for Simon Pace to throw everything that he's got at Daniel Reynolds.
That's right. Hang on, it looked like someone was just having a bit of a dive up there. I wonder if they missed the safety car flags.
Oh, look, you know, those red flashing lights on top of that safety car are pretty hard to see, aren't they?
That actually looks like a red flag. Or is that my imagination of that tower?
It does look like a red flag.
Anyway,
however, you can see the tow car right at the back of the circuit on the outside of the corner coming onto the main straight there. It's obviously picking up a car. I'll bet it will be a real sky blue chaser, no doubt.
No doubt, yeah, and as you
Without
say,
doubt.
he has definitely been probably the most DNF'd driver of the category
time, of all time.
of recent times.
That's right, but I've got no doubt that all that's behind him, and Gary showed a lot of determination at the last race at Eastern Creek, where he pretty well went from last place and got up to about 12th and 13th, maybe even 11th, I think, for a moment, before a bit of conservative driving just made sure that he played it safe. So,
okay, so let's go through the field here. We've got in the lead, we've got Daniel Reynolds doing a great job as per usual at his favourite circuit, Wakefield Park. Second there, you've got Simon Pace, followed by Corinne Perry, Dean Kavanagh, and Craig Conlon there. Actually, that's
Darren Williams, Morgan Fremantle, Pablo, Lee Porter, Steve Gamara, Lee Hemmings, and I think was that Anthony Mitchell up there, with Steve Butcher.
I think it was actually Rodney French, then Stevie Butcher.
Rodney French in the Black Jabiru, only his second race meeting in that car.
Yeah.
And also having repaired the car after a crash at the first round only a few weeks ago at Eastern Creek.
Yeah, I think he mainly had some brake line damage actually, so I don't think it was a huge repair job for him.
It wasn't bad and probably easily repaired, but he's doing a good job.
Okay, lights are out on the safety car, so we're probably good to go by the look of this. Here's Simon just warming his tyres up to make sure he's got some braking temperature by the time he gets to turn 1, turn 2, in fact. Okay, let's see how we go on the start.
Right, there goes the safety car off the track down the pit entry.
Daniel's actually been pretty cautious on the start, which
here we go.
Simon was ready to go, but there goes Daniel now. Very clever.
Just caught Simon out by a fraction, but don't forget, no one's allowed to pass each other or even go side by side before the start-finish line, which is coming up right there.
Okay, that was a fantastic bit of racemanship there by Daniel Reynolds. He waited, and then Simon decided to give a little bit more heat in his tyres, and Daniel saw him swerving and hit the gas pedal.
And then Corinne Perry obviously didn't make an error and is right on Simon's exhaust pipe.
There was a good shot there of Morgan in his new car. We used to see him in his red number 44, so it's now purpley sort of blue.
Dark blue purple.
Yeah,
with a few stripes on it. Brilliantly built by Lyle Moyes, our technical director, and had engine problems at last meeting. But look at Morgan now. Morgan's regained a bit of that fabulous form that he had in 2008, 2009.
Look at Simon. Simon's all over Daniel here. He's doing a fantastic job this weekend.
So he's pushing the state champion.
And the national
champion. State champion and the national champion.
Yep, and look, Corinne's pulling away from Dean Kavanagh. Actually, there's a bit of smoke
coming out. I think that's Steve Gamara in the Black Jason. The rookie Steve in his second race meeting. A local driver. So something's happened. I wonder what.
That car looks fantastic as well in its JPS style livery.
Black and gold, yes.
Yeah, okay, so coming down the front straight here, see Simon getting a tow and actually do something about Daniel here. Who's that? Dean's pulled to the defensive line.
And
Craig Conlon's come
trying
out.
to go around the outside of Dean Kavanagh.
And
Is he going to get the position?
And actually, you've got
Darren Williams obviously in the mix now.
I think Darren's taken Craig, but Craig's not, but none of it. Oh, I think that was probably a bit ambitious.
Craig, yeah, bit of dust kicked up.
Okay, I mean he was going to lose his position anyway, so nothing ventured, nothing gained.
But I bet he's having a great time inside that helmet at the moment,
now
especially when he goes off.
Look at that big pack going up through turn 3 there. That track narrows as you get up there. I thought that might end in tears.
Okay, Stephen Cannon in the white Nimbus Formula V. Obviously something's not gone right there. He's in last place.
Okay, Simon's still all over Daniel here. If he can get a good run out of the fish hook, he might be able to have a dive up at turn, 10 at East, the final turn at Wakefield.
Right, flat in third gear through that last kink going onto the straight, up to fourth gear, flat
There's
in
Lee
fourth.
Hemmings up the inside of Gamaro. A little bit of a rear lock up there from Reynolds. He's got a good hit on that apex, and he looks like he's got a good drive out.
He's just keeping that gap constant at the moment, not allowing enough turbulent air to sort of allow Simon to reduce his drag and get up there.
All right, this is the last lap now, so we should actually see some
action, some more action maybe.
If Simon wants to make the pass, this is the time to do it.
This is the time, but look, you can see Daniel looking down the left-hand side, down his mirror on the left side.
Okay, and you've got Corinne, who's got a little bit of a margin there to Dean and to Darren, and Craig sort of felt like Craig went off at turn 1 trying to...
That's right, Craig on there, but he's still kept ahead of Darren Williams, so he's passed Darren. Lee Hemmings in the orange polo.
Okay, whoa.
And Steve Gamara there, ahead of Pablo. Steve's still on the track? No, it wasn't Stephen blowing smoke, maybe Rodney French.
Rodney French, yeah.
That's right.
Okay, so Stevie Butcher still lead 1200. He's going running around with Anthony Mitchell.
Jeff Bassingthwaite with Bernie Cannon just ahead of him. Michael Gale looks to be in second place in the 1200s with Bruce Perry right on his tail.
Where's Daniel? Oh,
Daniel pulled away on the last lap. Obviously, Simon's made a bit of an error.
Yeah, something must have happened there because they were pretty close together, the two of them, and Daniel's put a bit of a gap there now. Okay, so what have we got a bit further back here? There's Stevie with
Rodney French or Anthony Mitchell.
Anthony Mitchell. Michael Gale second there. Bruce
Perry and Bernie Cannon looks to have passed.
Okay, and as we come to the checkered flag, Daniel Reynolds has already taken over the line there for first place, followed by Simon Pace, and that's a great show in there by Simon. In third place is a fantastic effort by Corinne Perry, and here you got Dean and Darren coming side by side. Who's going to get fourth? Oh, it looks like Darren's got in front of Dean.
Darren's just picked Dean Kavanagh. And Craig Conlon in the blue and white Jacer.
Yep. Okay, you've got...
Look in the background, there's
Lee Porter.
Lee Porter spinning on the last corner.
That was a battle there with Lee Hemmings, or...?
Looks like he was just trying to have a go at Lee Hemmings, but Lee's taken the position from him. So you can see Lee Hemmings crossing the line in the orange polo. There's Michael Gale, Bernie Cannon, Jeff Bassingthwaite and Steve Cannon in the white Nimbus.
Okay, so the race results for race 2... obviously, Daniel Reynolds took the lead. Fantastic effort there from the Sabre driver from the ACT. Simon Pace came in second place. Corinne Perry, fantastic effort for third. Darren Williams got Dean Kavanagh by the line, which was fantastic effort. Dean obviously was fifth. Craig Conlon, great job in sixth. Morgan Fremantle, seventh, and Lee Hemmings in eighth place.
That's right. Stephen Gamara, Rodney French, Steve Butcher heading the 1200 cars with Michael Gale second, Bernie Cannon third, Jeff Bassingthwaite. Great drive for a rookie, Stephen Cannon, and Bruce Perry in the sixth place for the 1200s. Well done.